Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Tottenham Hotspur have defeated Villarreal 1-0 in the first match of the Champions League phase this season. And guys, it wasn't a pretty performance, but it doesn't matter. We're going to break down the 5 things that we learned from today's match, so let's get right into it. Lesson number one, we got a lot of work to do. We were very, very sloppy. It felt like we were giving up possession left and right from guys like Bentancur, from Romero, from Porro, from Kudus. It felt like every time we had the ball, we were trying to force it and do some crazy pass that was so unnecessary. You know, Romero, especially after last match with his beautiful ball into Lucas Bergvall, you would think that he would be one of our best passers in the team, but he was sloppy, very sloppy. We could have given up like a lot amount of chances for them to score goals if they weren't giving the ball right back to us. It felt like they were just as sloppy as us. Like I said in the intro, not our prettiest match from either side, Tottenham or Villarreal. We were very lucky that we didn't get a goal scored on us and a break after losing possession. Lesson number 2, Lucas Bergvall and Xavi Simons. I think these guys can work wonders for us when they're both on the pitch. I saw a lot of hate on Xavi Simons today, saying that he underperformed and, well, he could have gotten a red card. I think it would have been harsh if he got a red card. I don't think his second challenge on the guy, it looked worse than it actually was. He got megged, he missed the ball, and the guy kind of ran into his path. I think if he would have gotten red, that would have been a little bit harsh, but he was putting in tackles that had you kind of like clenching your fists because you're like, oh my gosh, is he going to get sent off on his first Champions League match? For us, he's a really, really big key player. I personally think he gave us a lot. I mentioned this in my match preview that he was going to be really important for us, giving us an extra outlet alongside Kudus, so we're not completely relying on Mo to do most of our creative work. So it was really good to have an outlet like Xavi Simons, and so that was really good to see in this match. Bergvall, this guy, man, he was in my last 5 things that we learned video, and I just can't get enough of him. I think him and Xavi in the midfield together could be a partnership that we look back and think, wow, listen, this might sound crazy, but I think we could be seeing a Luka Modric and Toni Kroos type partnership as they develop and grow. They're both so young. Bergvall's 19? Xavi's 22. If these guys grow into like the players that we think that they can be, I think that the Toni Kroos can resemble Lucas Bergvall and the Modric can resemble Xavi Simons. Like, I just think that could be, call me crazy, okay? Call me crazy. This might be a stupid take, but I think these 2 guys have potential to be that good. Lesson number 3, Frank needs time to plan. I'm sure most of us are thinking that was not our best performance. We underperformed. We looked sloppy. I said this in the first lesson. But here's why I think that. Frank is a planner. Frank is a tactician. He needs time to prepare for his match. I listened to an interview with him and Michael Carrick before the West Ham game, and he was talking about only having 2 days to prepare for Villarreal. And I think we saw the lack of cohesion in our squad because of that only 2 days to prepare for this match. I was hoping he would kind of take in the tactics that he had from Man City, which he kind of did, but it wasn't exactly, man for man like I assumed it would be. But that's fine. I'm not the manager. I said that in the video. But I do think that not having a full week to prepare for this match really showed in the Villarreal game, just of how sloppy we were. It didn't really feel like we had a purpose, especially going forward. We'll talk about that in our last lesson. But I think Frank needs time to prepare for games like this, and I think it could cause us to struggle in the Champions League ties if our players don't step up and really take the game by the scruff of the neck and come up where Thomas Frank can sometimes fall short. Lesson number 4, and this is also about Thomas Frank, but more in a positive light. The only reason we won today, I think, and personally, is Thomas Frank loves a clean sheet. Listen, he's definitely instilled that into the players. If you look at any of the videos, I consume tons of Tottenham content from the YouTube and other YouTubers talking about Tottenham. So many great channels to look at. But in the Tottenham Hotspur page, you see the preseason tour, and you hear him talking to the guys in the match. I remember specifically, it was about, I think it was the Reading game, the first preseason game that we had this in the summer. He talked about clean sheet, keep that clean sheet. and then you see in training videos a week later where you see them training in defensive maneuvers and they're throwing their bodies on the line to block a pass or block a ball. Like, you're seeing this defensive mindset that Frank is instilling in these players. And I think all the players know that clean sheets are very important. And I think we got one today, obviously. I think that's a big reason why we won today, is because that is in their mind. It's new for us Spurs fans because we're so conditioned 2 seasons of Ange ball, which is the complete opposite. A clean sheet in the Ange system is something you only dreamt of being a Spurs fan. He's such a gung-ho manager, and his style of play was completely different from what Frank is doing. So I think a big reason we won today is because we're in a new era, the Frank era. And those ideas is what kept us in front today. Last but not least, lesson number 5, we are missing a number 9 that can really hold up the ball in a quality way. Specifically, we're missing Solanke. I know everyone was raving about Richarlison and how well he started the season, and I was definitely in that camp. I thought he did great, especially the great goals he scored against Burnley and the great game he had against PSG. But after that, he really hasn't provided much for us. And I think Richarlison, I'm sure a lot of people agree with this take, is that he's really inconsistent. Sometimes he has a great run of games where he's performing well, scoring goals, doing good, and then he kind of has the run of games where he's not really giving us much. And I think we've seen that part of Richarlison the last few times that we've seen him. I know he missed out on last week's game because of the international break, him coming off flying from South America. Totally understand that. And I'm not saying that Richarlison could not pick his form back up. I hope he does, and I think he will. But I think we have a Solanke-sized hole, or really just a hold-up-play-sized hole that I'm hoping that Solanke, when he comes back from injury, can fill. Now, there's a lot of gray area about Solanke's injury. I don't want to have to get into all that. Apparently, it's coming up soon when he can be back. But I do want to touch on Kolo Muani. He came on for about 15 minutes, so you didn't really get to see too much of him. I don't want to be too harsh, but he didn't really show us anything. He kind of was silent for the 15 minutes he was on, but at that point, we really were just kind of holding on to the match to keep the clean sheet, to keep the 1-0 victory. So I don't want to be too harsh on Kolo Muani, but from what I did see from him, it didn't really impress me too much. So I think we're hoping that Solanke comes back and fills that hole that we desperately need in our hold-up play. So those are the 5 things that we learned from the Tottenham 1, Villarreal 0 Champions League phase match. 3 points is 3 points in this scenario. Let me know the things that you learned that I may have missed. Leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. Come on, you Spurs. God bless.